Hey there, Southfield. I'm Blake Finberry, and welcome to Business Matters. In this edition, each place may seem a little odd, random, or like no other place you've ever heard of. And while you may not be able to see the common theme between each of these businesses either, the connection I discovered is that each of these places offers an unmatched, one-of-a-kind experience you just won't find anywhere else. And the best part of all, each business welcomes a surprisingly fun time for all ages. Trust me. So if you've never heard of any business like these, no worries, neither have I. So stay tuned as we explore these wild and wacky businesses right here in the Southfield area together. It was love at first aerial for Misha Adams and Matt Buss, the directors behind the trapeze balancing, stilt walking, fire juggling place known as the Detroit Fly House. Here at this circus training school, anyone who was ever fascinated over the jaw-dropping Ringling Brothers shows can make their dream come alive. Founder Misha Adams certainly did. The yoga instructor turned ringmaster, who began her high-flying career from one random thought that struck her one day. She wanted to learn trapeze. Within a short time of lessons, Misha's aerial expertise spawned into what is now the Detroit Fly House Circus School, a liberating space where Misha says both children and adults get to play.
It's a circus school, so primarily we teach aerial stuff, these things hanging here, and ground acrobatics, although sometimes we teach other things like how to rig your aerial things, juggling classes, fire classes. What else? Anything circus related.
Yeah. Stilt walking.
More than that though, it's an amazing community of people. Like the people that come here form really, really nice, tight friendships.
We have students who come with absolutely no athletic background whatsoever. We really strive to make our classes incredibly accessible, no matter who you are, what your background is. We have students of all ages, and it's very important to us to maintain an environment here where people know that they're safe to go as far as they want to, and that there's no pressure on them.
When we open the space is that it's very clear that it's a very non-competitive kind of environment for people to explore things that would otherwise be really scary.
Under the encouraging training of Misha and Matt, students of various sizes, skill level, and ages participate in various aerial yoga and acrobatic courses, building foundational skills of balance, endurance, and strength. Like the bond Matt and Misha formed through their love of acrobatics, members of the Fly House that make up a tight-knit circus community share a common passion and appreciation for the art and one another.
Most of our classes run as an 8-week series, and they just go throughout the year. We have small breaks in between the series of classes just so that we can go off on vacations and go to different circus schools and things like that and train. But the classes are ongoing. There's various levels of classes. A lot of people also do private lessons or parties. We teach in some schools like Waldorf. We've had a 4-year circus program there.
Wow.
We have a connection with Boys and Girl Scouts. so we have programs with them. But most people tend to take the 8-week classes, so they have a guaranteed spot every week in class.
As with any successful partnership, Matt and Nisha instill trust, encouragement, and belief in one another as key elements that propel success for each student at the Fly House. The dedication is evident in every moving Fly House performance, which brings people from all over full of anticipation to be amazed. For hours, audience members are taking on an eye-opening adrenaline rush as Nisha, Matt, and their mini acrobats showcase astonishing feats, leaving showgoers lost for words. Above all, Matt and Nisha want anyone to know that aerial aerobics is not only a great form of exercise, but even more so an outlet to relieve stress and clear one's mind. Having fun, staying determined, and exceeding your own expectations is the most important takeaway for the co-founders who have seen each of their students accomplish amazing goals here at the Fly House.
There's nothing more fun than this. I think people, it's very freeing. It's a place where you get to play. You know, it's like you get to experience recess all over again without anybody pulling your hair out.
And you get into really good shape, too.
Oh yeah, that.
That's one of the best exercises.
It's much more than the love of the circus for Misha and Matt. For this passionate couple, building esteem and confidence in every student, whether young or old, big or small, is what keeps their fire burning. Need something to marvel at or a place to keep your mind racing with surprises? Maybe you just need a few aha or who knew moments. There is such a place here in the Metro Detroit area where this happens for visitors. Welcome to Marvin's Marvelous Mechanical Museum, where just about everything here forces you to take a second look and want to learn more. But it's not your typical museum. The Mechanical Haven, named one of the World Almanac's 100 most unique museums in the world, keeps you on the edge of your toes every corner you turn. A collection of over 1,000 vintage coin-operated machines, kid rides, and games began in 1990 when Marvin opened this extraordinary place where you can enjoy a fascinating time-traveling experience.
Marvin's is known from coast to coast like butter and toast. From headlines to bedlines, from schools to schoolrooms to pool rooms. Nowhere in the contiguous United States or other environs is there a place like Marvin's. Come and enjoy it. So what is Marvin's? It's a museum with history, with old machines, new machines, advertising, old fans, electronic marvels, all plethora of old kinds of things that people enjoy from 1 to 91. There's something here for everybody. Little kids, I have little kiddie rides that kids like, and going up to the middle age and older people seeing some of the things they haven't seen in 30 years. So there's the favorites here for everybody, and they sort of get to have a little favorite, and they like it. And one thing I like about my place, I have so many things, you can't see it all in 1 or 2 or 3 trips. So they come back, oh, I never saw that before, is that new? Anyway, that's what I like to have, and I like to make sure people have a good, memorable experience here and talk about it. It's a hobby gone wild, really. And the hobby was coin-operated machines, mostly music machines, self-playing Nickelodeons, which actually is a forerunner of the computer because it used a paper roll punched out, and that went by a tracker bar, and the air blew through it, blew the note that was punched out. So that's the way the computer started, by a paper tape punched out like that. So that's what got when I was going to the University of Michigan, got me going, thinking about it. And the Nickelodeons, that was early music they came before the Victrolas and the records. And that's what I just love about it. And what gets me when somebody comes in, they tried 2 or 3 things, nothing's working. I said, ma'am, we have over 1,000 things in here. If 5 things don't work, that's less than 0.5%. And I think it's pretty good. So it's really a maintenance you have to take care of, and parts aren't available. Sometimes I have to find good people that can make parts, and it's a challenge all the time. You really have to have a passion to run a business like this, because you run into different headaches, whether it's power failures or, cities, agencies on your neck, or every day seems to be a different challenge. You know, being open 7 days a week, almost 100 hours a week, even your help is a challenge to keep good help, try to keep it running. And so if you want to be successful in a business, you better be ready for the Sunday days, holidays, and it's a continual challenge. You wake up, you don't know whether the alarm went off and you have to be there, or the power's off, or you got toilets that don't work. I mean, it just goes on and on. So being in business is a challenge itself. An independent business is another challenge.
In the heart of downtown Detroit, the infamous Opera House, Music Hall, and Gym and Century theaters house award-winning productions, events, and performances for art enthusiasts. These beautiful theatrical homes, however, aren't the only places that make up this distinct district. In the midst of these popular venues sits an intimate center known as the Puppet Art Theater. Here, expert puppeteer artists bring a growing collection of puppets alive in a range of remarkable productions for both children and adults.
Puppet art is a special place because it is not only the theater. It is puppet theater, of course, puppet museum, and puppet studio. And we design it in such a way that all the activities here take place here, intertwined and take place through the museum and the studio and support each other. So when we have a puppet performance on stage based on, let's say, Russian folklore as today, on the stage where we are now, this performance supported by a little tour in the museum which tells about the puppet we use in this show and a little bit about Russian culture, importance of puppet theater in Russia, but also we have puppet making workshop in the studio. So now kids after the show enjoy learning how to make puppets. And usually it's a kind of puppet we use in the show, and the character of the puppet they make also come from the story which we just presented. So this experience, not just the performance itself, it is experience you can get in the museum, learning something new and simply learning skills of the craft of the art as well. Everyone was born as a puppeteer, and we know how children easily get engaged, and we all were children. So what's happened? What does it mean? I think it is one of this, like sixth sense, a sense for animation, and we all had that. When we grew up, got with all our different issues, interests, and problems, for most of the people, this ability fade out, but it come back when adults come and enjoy the show as they did today, even without realizing themselves. Why? That's why, because there were puppeteers before, just forgot how to do that.
The Puppet Art Theater enthusiastically believes that puppetry is a unique art form because it is found in every culture throughout the world. Through these relatable puppets, audience members of diverse ethnicities and backgrounds are able to connect on some level to the stories being told, which makes for an unforgettable experience for anyone who makes it here to see for themselves.
Detroit is in a very difficult situation. It's a time in our life, challenging time in our life. And I think, I believe that the presence of institutions like puppet art is not just important, but necessary. It's almost like air needed, because that's where we can get our inspiration, desire, enthusiasm to get over all these issues, all the problems, because we know why we need it, because it's all come from the stories. I call the puppetry the griot of urban community. We're not just in one individual institution. We are a little link in the chain. By telling the story, we're connecting what's happened before us with those who will come after us. And that's what we do for the community. So as Detroit fights through this challenging time, I think our obligation is to do our job, to make sure that we have this young audience, we have adults who learned about the history, about difficult time. Because story on stage always tell about difficult time. Even if it is a funny story, it tells about somebody's struggle and how to overcome the struggle. That's where we get this energy. That's where we learn how to deal with what the reality is. So for us, being here is not just, well, that's what we like to do, puppet shows. Oh no, we realize that we have a very important obligation for the community to serve, to bring this understanding, to bring this knowledge, to help keep the spirit up. And and we do it simple way. We perform, we have events, and we perform regularly. We have shows for general public every Saturday, 2 o'clock. We have 2 Thursdays during the months at morning, 10 o'clock for general public, for those who cannot attend on the weekend. And all other time, all weekend, weekdays all those days are available for groups. Of course, mostly it is the school groups, but not only schools. We have community centers come here, child centers come here as a group, as a field trips, and they experience all the same thing: performance, museum tour, and a workshop. So that's how we live. General public performances, field trips as we call it, and we do that for 15 years. And out of 52 Saturdays, at least 48 Saturdays, we have shows. And most of the people already know. If it is a Saturday, 2 o'clock, most likely, for sure, there will be performance at Puppet Theater. So we welcome everybody on those days. And one more thing I need to probably point out, that we do not limit ourselves to this location. We have shows, we take on a tour, we go to schools, community centers, and perform other places as well. But of course, there is no such experience anywhere else because we have a museum and a studio here as well.
We go from puppet art to every type of art at the next stop on our list, the River's Edge Gallery. At this gallery, patrons are able to enjoy an unforgettable experience while viewing popular local and national artists. But what sets them apart from other art galleries is their passion and dedication to make art enjoyable and affordable for everyone.
The gallery's been in operation for over 30 years, and basically was started by Pat Slack and Jim Slack, the late great Jim Slack, passed away in 2001, Pat's late husband. And essentially, I think they just started the space because he was an artist himself. He was a cast-quarter artist. And I think they started slinging oils at art fairs and things. They had numerous locations. They did custom framing and all that jazz. Pat was a basic designer, and just sort of built up from there. So 30 years later, when I came on, the slow transition in for us to become a local regional artists gallery, community space somewhat, where we really just try and promote culture in our own backyard. I mean, there's so much talent in the Detroit Metro. But we have Grand Rapids artists. We have artists that are from the West Side, from the UP, the downriver community and things like that. So yeah, we're just about showing good art in our local regional community. We have tons of very uber talented artists, some with national reputations, international reputations. Like Audrey Pongras is one of our big artists, doing very well for herself in the West Coast in New York. She's gaining quite a nice reputation. We also have Tim Burke, who's who does these amazing cats and timbers and things and found object art. And his studio is actually at the Heidelberg Project, the famous Heidelberg Project in Detroit. In terms of like what we provide to the community in terms of art, I would say that you know, you're gonna get your bang for your buck. You're gonna see some pretty exquisite work that's somewhat under the radar. Artists sort of just really truly being artists, living that lifestyle, working hard to produce art, not considering or worrying about a niche market. You know, I mean, I think even Slaw, amazing retro artist, Detroit, and you know, he's really been doing it for a long time and really has that corner really set up in this area. So, I mean, we just have a whole span of photography, like Patty Izzo, her studio's on the 3rd floor. Yeah, just a lot of really great different works and pieces. We do have a really cool layaway program as well. Certain artists are willing to work with people. I mean, we're all about our artists, you know, making a living so they don't have to rob you in an alley. And, well, that's not true, but, and we're also, you know, about the community getting connected with art. So instead of going to like a big box store or the internet and picking up something for, you know, for $10, which they're just probably gonna end up just throwing away or damaging or not caring about just because there's color on it, which is cool. But at the same point, you know, I have artists who have truly created and people do get connected with the work, which is exciting, but just to be aware that, you know, they do have the opportunity to put something in layaway or to buy something or even just to come and see it in person and just maybe, you know, find out about prints or things like that. And if anyone's design questions, we do free in-house consultations. And then obviously custom framing and all that stuff too. So I mean, I think we really handle the full gamut of you know, any artistic needs, I suppose, or any creative needs that people need for their homes if they're stuck. You know, they want to save some money and not make a mistake. You know, we can help them get a good piece of art in, or a different color wall or whatever.
It's been a wild and unforgettable time at each of these unique places. These unusual businesses are able to thrive with creative visionaries who have worked diligently to transform each of their hobbies into successful running establishments. And while it may seem like all fun and games, these entrepreneurs tell me they face challenges like any other owner, sometimes even more because of their unordinary businesses. But what they tell me is it only motivates them to produce even more creative and enticing ways to remain a standout business in the community. Above all, proactive thinking and a commitment to promoting out-of-the-box fun is what keeps these owners and their businesses on the rise. With the discovery of these new forms of entertainment in our very own backyard, it's even more reason for you to step outside your comfort zone. Take a visit to one of these cool places and experience something new for not only yourself, but your family. We all deserve a moment of excitement, relief, or to simply feel like a kid again. Try it out. You may surprise yourself with how much you'll enjoy a different activity. Thanks for tuning in. For Business Matters, I'm Blake Benberry, and as always, I'm looking out for you. For more information about the mentioned businesses, organizations, the Southfield Chamber of Commerce, and the Southfield Business Development Team, or if you would like your business to be featured on Business Matters, contact us on our Southfield Cable 15 Facebook page.